I went from innocent to tough really fast. I'm glad E.T. has that footage because I'm gonna now ask the other new kids if they remember it. It used to be like little bad boy and now it's like turn on the waterworks. Let's get Donnie to cry. I'm Donnie Wahlberg and this is my E.T. retrospective.
When we were working, growing up and stuff and trying to achieve #1 status, we always dreamed about and imagined it.
My first E.T. interview.
We just want to keep going and have more #1s and keep being a success.
I'm conflicted between the clothes, the hair, but also the youth and hopefulness and innocence. It's really sweet and cringy. But it's good to see us getting along. We still get along. Don't start any stories, okay? We still get along. It's just, you know, it was a really all for one and one for all feeling that we had back then, and it's sweet to see it. First #1 was I'll Be Loving You Forever, and I think I remember that party. I think we were at a party for the Big Bopper magazine. I remember that outfit and the glasses. But wearing those fake glasses all those years made me need real glasses now, and of course I'm not wearing them again. I know how excited we were to actually be on E.T. It was a big deal for us. You know, you grew up watching a show like that, and then you're on it. And honestly, that enthusiasm, that boyish energy, like it's never left me. I still kind of pinch myself whenever I talk to Nichelle Turner or Kevin Frazier. Now they're my friends, you know. It's like it's all very surreal, and it's never lost on me just how cool it all is. You know, I don't think I'll ever get too full of myself that I won't appreciate how far me and my bandmates have come.
I was a bad boy when I was little. You know, in my mind, I'm a good boy now. You know what I'm saying?
My bad boy reputation. The accent is just comedy.
And I don't understand why having an earring in your nose and sideburns and a beard and wearing a bandana makes you a bad boy.
My nose is still pierced. You can't see, thank goodness. They probably wouldn't have cast me on Blue Bloods, but it's still pierced. I actually found out it was still pierced on an episode of Wahlburgers with my mom. I took one of her earrings and put it in. It still hurt. It's still there. My mother was mortified, but you know, probably have a little less hair than I did there. But I still wore hats and bandanas. No more rat tail. My mom actually kept the rat tail when I finally cut it. She put it in a Ziploc bag and kept it. Everyone has to grow up and has challenges. I was growing up, you know, on television, and every mistake or dumb thing that I did, you know, it was gonna be a story. I don't have any regrets or feel bad about it. I was glad actually E.T. gave me a chance to talk about what was going on right then. For me, was I a bad boy? I was making some dumb decisions, I think, you know, getting in a fight here and there. But again, there's no guidebook on how to become famous when you're 18, 19 years old, you know, and with success comes a lot of, with the adulation of the fans comes a lot of criticism from non-fans. And, you know, it was, I just like to, you know, push back sometimes.
What did hit your brother?
It's crazy. And my little brother's, he's gonna make a record next.
He was a good-looking kid. He was a good-looking young man.
This is for trivia. He is the first official member. Me and him joined the New Kids together, but he left. He didn't want to do it. He wanted to play basketball.
You know what I love about that is that I can see in his face, and it takes me right back to that time how much faith he had in me. A lot of people don't know that I produced his records and wrote a lot of his songs and produced Good Vibrations. I really put my heart and soul in a huge financial investment into him because, yeah, I love him. That's my little brother, and you know, I really wanted to help him find his way. And looking at it now, it's kind of a little emotional to think about it. Like, you know, in some ways, his future was in my hands. My mom would say, make him famous, get him out of here. I was very protective of Mark in every way. A lot of people don't know there is a real life Johnny drama.
You're not saying until you guys lawyer up.
People think the Johnny Drama character in Entourage was modeled after me. Really wasn't. Kevin Dillon's actually a good friend of mine, but there's a real life Johnny Drama who's Mark and my cousin, Johnny, who I hired to stay with Mark and to get him in shape and to help him, prepare his meals and to get to the studio on time and to be responsible while I was traveling the world. Yeah, I was very protective of him. And look, he was a tough kid. He protected me sometimes too. But we had a great bond, when our parents split up. Mark and I, we've been together our whole life. I don't remember a time in my life as a young person where Mark wasn't around. And even when I went off to start the New Kids, I knew I wasn't gonna leave him behind. I knew that, we would find something to do with him in the music business as well. And he's just turned into more than anyone could have ever dreamed. So I'm incredibly proud. We sometimes will check in and give advice, but I'll tell you one thing, Mark to this day will still call me if he sees me and the New Kids on television doing something. He watched New Kids and New Edition perform on the American Music Awards 2 years back, and literally the first call I got off stage was Mark. And that's what he did when we were kids. I mean, he's still my biggest supporter in the New Kids, outside of my mom. And she's not here anymore, so I guess he's taken the baton and still always rooting for me and the guys, and that means a lot.
I didn't expect what's going on outside. I don't think anyone did.
I do not recall getting into the back of a truck to escape from fans. I do remember the hysteria level was incredible, and I loved it. Fans screaming, cheering, yelling, asking for pictures, whatever it is, that's one of the coolest things in the world. I know Jordan Knight and I used to sneak out of the hotel. We'd get disguises and sneak out. I remember in West Virginia one day, we snuck out of the hotel, out of a back door. We ran to a thrift store, bought some crazy 70s outfits, and went to the movies and watched the third Raiders of the Lost Ark. The forgotten Super Bowl halftime show. The world doesn't know about this. All right, I don't brag about New Kids. This is one brag I do though, because the Super Bowl halftime show has become the thing. And this was the first of its kind. And most people don't know about it because the Gulf War had just started, and the halftime show that we did was preempted by the President Bush Sr. making a speech. And so most people didn't see this performance. I'm not trying to say, hey, we did it first, but we did.
As for how Donnie feels about the New Kids hitting the Super Bowl stage for a second time,
yeah, but I think we do it with a few other boy bands for sure.
In 1994, the band went their separate ways, only to reunite 14 years later. Extra bonus, they teamed up with the Backstreet Boys.
Someone had suggested they be our opening act on a tour, and I was like, no. And they said, why, you don't like those guys? I said, no, that's like a heavyweight championship fight. That's like Backstreet Boys and New Kids. There's no opening act there. That's 1 + 1 = 1,000,000, and that's what it turned out to be.
They have very loyal fans. We have very loyal fans. But I think looking at the few women who were sprinkled around the rehearsal, there was just a look that I really have not seen too often.
When we reunited as New Kids on the Block, I'd done a lot of things on my own, but something did feel missing or incomplete, I think, in my career, in my life. And it felt like no matter what I did in my own career by myself, which I did a lot, it still felt like something was missing. And getting back with the guys really, I think, it really just kind of brought everything together and elevated it all. Getting together kind of really made it clear that we all missed each other and we all rooted for each other and we all wanted to do this again. And when the fans showed up and turned it into absolute mania, it just was more than we could ever have dreamed of a second time around.
On top of dominating the music scene, the 55-year-old has also had a successful acting career, starring in hit shows like Band of Brothers and, of course, Blue Bloods.
there are times when you feel, why did I do this? Why did I choose to do this? It's definitely the most physically demanding job I've ever had.
Band of Brothers, it was a life and career altering opportunity. In my experience, it's rare that, you know, you could sort of want for something and have it manifest. You know, I really wanted to do a TV series again. I literally remember calling my agent and saying, I really want to do a TV series where I just got the best role on television. Not much to ask for. And with an established star, and you know, he can sort of be the big name, but I can do all the heavy lifting and run through walls and do all that. And literally, like within weeks, the Blue Blood script showed up. And I read it and I said, who's playing the dad? And they were like, it's probably gonna be Tom Selleck. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. It's literally what I put out in the universe. It's hard to remember it all. And this interview just kind of is turning on my emotions a little bit. It's just, yeah, it's, I'm incredibly fortunate to have been part of that show and for the success that it had.
Fans can still get their Donnie fix from season 6 of Very Scary People. He's the host and executive producer of the true crime docuseries, premiering Sunday on Investigation Discovery.
It's sort of a guilty pleasure, true crime. It's definitely out of the box of what I typically do. You know, I'm in a boy band, man band. I do Blue Bloods, and this is probably more an extension of Blue Bloods than of Donnie from the New Kid. And I think this season particularly, we're really trying to give some of the survivors and people impacted more of a voice in the show.